For 6 months after the surprise attack at Pearl Harbor, Imperial Japan seemed unstoppable, winning one battle after another. The entire war in the Pacific would change at the Battle of Midway. This is World War II in 2. I'm John Curatola with the National World War II Museum in New Orleans. Imperial Japanese strategy in the Pacific was to build an outer defensive ring of territories and lure the U.S. Navy into a decisive, large-scale naval battle. Both sides had invested heavily in aircraft carrier planes and pilots. In May 1942, the Battle of the Coral Sea would be the first naval engagement where the two surface fleets never sighted each other. Weeks after the Americans checked the Japanese offensive in the Battle of the Coral Sea, the two navies would meet again in a larger battle near Midway in June 1942 that would change the momentum of the war. The Imperial Japanese invasion fleet, built around 4 aircraft carriers, sortied toward the small Pacific atoll. They were unaware at this time that the U.S. had broken the Japanese naval codes. Meanwhile, American carriers Hornet and Enterprise were already on their way to intercept the enemy, and they were soon joined by the Yorktown, which had been quickly repaired after the Coral Sea fight. Japanese airstrikes began bombing Midway's facilities on June 4, but American recon planes located the attacking Japanese carrier fleet. With Japanese planes focused on Midway's airfield, the 3 U.S. aircraft carriers still held the element of surprise. The Americans seized the opportunity and launched their planes to attack the Japanese carrier, but the initial attacks caused no real damage. Soon after the American attack, Japanese carriers began to recover their planes and prepare for future strikes when suddenly more planes from the Yorktown and the Enterprise appeared overhead. American SPD Dauntless dive bombers successfully struck the unprepared carriers Kaga, Akagi, and Soryu, causing the 3 ships to eventually sink. Japan's only remaining carrier, the Hiryu, launched a strike group which struck the newly repaired Yorktown, taking her out of action. However, planes from the Enterprise struck back against the Hiryu, fatally crippling her. Although the bulk of the Japanese surface fleet was intact, the loss of the carriers was significant. Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto called off the invasion. One thing was abundantly clear: the Japanese had suffered a major blow, losing not only 4 carriers, but also their skilled and well-trained air crews. The Battle of Midway was a turning point in the Pacific. From this point on, the Americans had the strategic initiative.